What's going on, everybody? It's great to be here again. It's just fun. I got my Baja Fresh soda cup. This is Baja Fresh is kind of keeping me alive here in Los Angeles. It's kind of before Chipotle. It was Baja Fresh. So get you some Baja. Great fast food tacos. It's very exciting today. We got Jeff here. Very excited to bring you guys in. I'm trying to get used to all the tech here. Get all confused. So big news. Me and my girl got a car. It was big news for us. We got us a Kia Sportage. I call it Sportage. The guy at the dealer was like, it's a Sportage. I was like, it's a Sportage. I go to Target in my Sportage. And so very excited. We're 4x4 people. So we got the all-wheel drive. We're very excited to hit the hills and mountains of California. And so we got it. So, but we also, in honor of being on the road, I wanted to open this segment with some of my favorite road songs when I'm driving in the car, songs I like to hear when I'm on the road driving. I'm very excited. One of my top favorites is AC/DC Highway to Hell. And probably not the best song if you want to, go into a highway that's going towards hell. But this is a great song. It's, one of the greatest bands of all time. This unit in the band is probably the best they were. I'm a Brian Johnson guy, but Bon Scott kind of created something that was just a little more soulful to the metal that Brian brings. But this song is great. I'm on a highway to hell. It's really hard not to groove to this song when you're driving. Number 2, Beastie Boys, Fight for Your Right to Party. Such a great song to be on the road with. That's a good one. You got to be careful with these songs, though. I remember one time I was in summer school and I was in a parking lot and I had a song up and I think it was Money Money by Billy Idol, which is another good road song. And I crashed into a car in a parking lot because I was just jamming to the song that intensely. And so be careful when you jam out to these songs. And then Leonard Skinner, Sweet Home Alabama. I feel it's just such a good cruising song. And then when it starts to get in, a lot of these songs, they start out with the great jam. And so you just kind of, it just kind of, reels you in and you just keep having a good time while you're driving. Another band, Allman Brothers, Ramblin' Man, which is one of my favorite songs to drive to. Such a good song. I love the Allman Brothers. You see them live all the time in New York, and one of my great things. And we all know I'm a big Cult fan. So Love Removal Machine by the Cult has such a great intro as well. I love that song. It kind of sounds like Start Me Up a little bit, and then it kind of goes into the Cult, and they got their own thing going with it. Such a great song. And then, you really probably, whether you like this band or whether you like this song or not, Whitesnake, Here I Go Again, has got to be one of the best driving songs. It's just something about that song, especially if you're going through a breakup or you're like, just something going on in your life, you quit your job, it's like one of those songs. And it's just something about it when you're in the car, you're just like, it's just a fantastic, road song to listen to. So in honor of road music, and also we are making April soundtrack month. Jeff and I decided to just, pull soundtracks and talk about them. So this is also the ultimate driving record album. This is the Easy Rider soundtrack. Arguably the best road song ever of all time. Steppenwolf, Born to Be Wild is phenomenal. This is a great album. It's kind of a hard find. If you see this at a record store, get it. It's really good. It's got a whole lot of great things. It's got it's got Jimi Hendrix, 6 Was 9. It's got so many good stuff on here. Roger McGuinn and who else has got? The Byrds are on this. But this is a really good soundtrack. And the movie's great, too. The movie's one of the best movies of biker movies you're ever going to see. It's got Peter Fonda, Dennis Hopper is great. And a young first role Jack Nicholson. And so it's such a great movie. So this is a really cool soundtrack. So get you this. If you find it, pick it up. It's very hard to find. And, Born to Be Wild is like, there's nothing to get you going more than that song. And it's the second song in on track A or side A. And so get this, check it out. And so very excited to do the show today. I'm very excited to bring in my co-hosts, my dudes of music, Jeffrey Paul, Adam Holtz. What's up, guys? How are you? Woo! How you doing, man?
Dustin.
Hey,
What's
Dustin.
going on?
That is a great soundtrack, man. I like all those songs. You know, the other song I really like a lot on Easy Rider is the band's The Weight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you take a load off Mary. That's a great.
It says Smith here. That's the lead singer, or
no? The lead singer and writer of the song is Robbie Robinson.
Okay, it says The Weight, and then it says Smith.
Yeah, no, that's the band. That is a classic song. In fact,
I wonder why it says Smith though.
I don't know why I would say Smith, but the writing credit should say
but
Robbie Robinson.
Maybe it's not them. It's a cover by Smith. It must be a cover.
I don't know who's Smith. The Smiths came out way after.
Dude, not the Smiths. Come on, dude.
So, I think it's the band's version.
Okay, I'm just saying it says Smith right here. I'm not saying it. Adam, please look this up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Look up The Weight and look up Smith. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing here. I'm not trying to argue with you. I just, and I know the band. They're amazing, but this is what it says. Right? Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah. I have some of their vinyl as well. But just curious why, more of a curiosity why it says that.
What else I like about driving songs? I also like live albums, like listen to live music.
Sure, absolutely.
Driving. It really gets you like pumped up for that too.
Yeah, man. It's just something about being in a car and it goes together. I think that's when the world kind of came together, is when radio met car. I can't imagine. Can you imagine, when people were driving cars before radios and stuff like that? I mean, I guess it was the time. I mean, you were around. Talk to us.
Yeah, well, it was an improvement because we were able to move past the horse and buggy, and so with
but I bet that was an amazing time. You know what I mean? Like when, the first car radio, that had to have been amazing. You know what I mean? We're amazed now by an iPhone 10 or whatever, but I can't imagine you know what I mean? Like that had to have been like this just crazy moment when somebody was able to get into a car and turn on music for the first time, when that was like a first time thing. I bet that was phenomenal.
Yeah, I would think that would probably have been in like the 1930s, because in the 1920s, you had your first radio broadcast coming out of Pittsburgh, and then cars were already around for
was it in a
close to 20 years.
But that combo of car and radio,
I think they had to kind of mesh.
Adam, let us know. Give us all the facts, Adam.
All right. Well, first I get the answer to Smith.
What's that?
According to Wikipedia, Smith's version of The Weight was included on the Easy Rider soundtrack because, due to contractual reasons, the band's version, which appeared in the movie, was unavailable.
So it was in the movie. It was not on the album. Okay,
that's why it is.
Interesting. Okay, cool. And Smith was like a singer-songwriter. I don't know.
It was a band, and they were actually called the Smith. Yeah, they were called the Smith, and they changed it to the Smith. It's a Smith. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. And do you have our other answer to the first car radio?
First car radio. You have to Google it.
I hope you're right, Jeff. That sounds fun. 30s. That sounds about right. I'm going to say later. I'm going to say 40s.
1924.
24. Nice.
24. Yeah.
Good work.
24. Wow.
Yeah.
But then let me see. Yeah. That was 1924.
Did it say when it was readily available in all cars?
It's like 1930. I think around the Pioneer 30s.
Cassette. No, I was kidding. Yeah, I got a funny story. Not really funny, but it's my life and my family. My brother is a degenerate, and he used to steal car radios, and he was just ridiculous. And he would just break into cars and steal them and stuff. And I remember one time, the cops came to our house, and I'm like 9 or something, and I'm in my underwear or whatever. And he was just and the cops are surrounding the place, picking him up. And he's like, look, there's a box of these stereos. So you got to throw them over the fence. And so we live right next to the woods. And so it was like our house and then just woods in the back. And so I was literally 9 years old, just throwing Pioneer speakers and block punts into the woods for my degenerate brother. White trash, baby. All right.
Did he give you a cut?
He did. I think he gave me.
Okay, so it was worth it.
He gave me a Happy Meal. That was his cut. I got robbed on that. But anyway, shout out to Dennis, my degenerate brother. But Jeff, what are your favorite road songs? Like a song that you love cranking up?
Detroit Rock City.
Nice. That's a good one.
I think Kiss, and again, live version. I like listening to actually Springsteen "Prove It All Night."
Okay.
Another great version of that. Or sometimes I'll even like listen to like The River, which I love. It's long. It's like 11 minutes. Take some time off when you're driving. So that's why I kind of. But I definitely really go more towards like live versions of song. Even Frampton.
Yeah, Frampton's amazing. We saw Frampton together. That was fun.
Yes, we did.
Adam, what about you, buddy?
All right, so I got Radar Love, Golden Earring.
Wow, that's great song.
Always a good one. For the Beastie Boys, Sabotage.
That's a great one.
Which I always think is a great driving one. Tom Petty's Running Down a Dream.
Great song, yeah.
With Springsteen, I would probably say Rosalita. I always love driving around to that song. And Eve 6, Open Road song, which is pretty good.
Oh wow, that's a good one. You guys love Springsteen out there, don't you?
I think when it comes to driving in cars, Springsteen really kind of brings it together, right?
Well, Born to Run, I guess, makes sense, but seems like that'd be a good road song. I'm just not a Springsteen guy, but
there's a lot of great ones off the river. Also, I'm just trying to.
If I were to get one album,
perfect.
If I were to get one Springsteen album, what would it be? The River?
Probably The River or
Darkness.
Born in the USA.
Darkness, I think Darkness.
I got hammered out with that fucking album.
Yeah,
when I was a kid, it was like, on that. Yeah, I can't do that one.
I think either The River or Darkness. I mean, Darkness was great because it's like late 70s. He's still kind of raw. It's coming right off of Born to Run. I mean, he's that period of Springsteen is great. I kind of agree with you with the Born to Run thing.
Yeah.
You Born in the USA.
Born in the USA. Yeah. Right. Is there any Twitchies out there that have a favorite road song that they like before we get this thing started?
We got Mad Dabbin says Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang. That's Jeff's neighborhood.
Yes.
Staten Island, baby. Which Wu-Tang song? I want to expand my Wu-Tang. What's a great Wu-Tang song? Cash and Money or something? I don't know Wu-Tang that well. I wear the shirt like I do, but I don't really know them.
And then Jay Dieslot says Spotify 90s hip hop. So you got Spotify. 90s hip hop is great for driving.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about, we're a vinyl show, we're old timey people here, but yeah, that stepped up the game when you can put on like a streaming service and stuff. It's like, and you get, like I said, I mean, I did the whole thing. I listened to all the Zeppelin albums and stuff, and it's like it's just like you wouldn't be able to do that otherwise. It's like but you'd crash your car trying to like put in CDs, like trying to find, trying to put in like 15 CDs, But well, remember they used to do the changers. Jeff, I feel like you're a guy that had like a CD changer in the car. Like
I've had one of the very first ones. In fact, I had an Isuzu Trooper.
Okay.
And the CD holder was in the back, the CDs. Mm-hmm. So you could load up like 8 CDs. And then there was a wire that came across and you had to change it, but it was like a wire, like a remote control, like a TV remote control on a wire. And that's how you would change it. Like now, wow. Like in the car I have now, I may just throw CDs in, load them up, and it's so easy.
Yeah.
I can put like 10, 15 CDs in.
Adam, do we have something else?
Yeah, so Mad Dabbin says, bring the ruckus.
That's
from
Wu-Tang?
Wu-Tang, yeah.
Okay, and that's, do you know what album's that? Is that sure, I guess just find this. I can find that. That's no big deal. All right, I'll check it. I smoked weed one time with them. Like, I don't know who was part of it, but I remember being backstage somewhere in Connecticut, and there were a bunch of guys. They were like, they're from Wu-Tang. And I was like, this is the biggest blunt I've ever seen. And then that's all I remember.
Here's an interesting Wu-Tang fact.
Yes.
Method Man, who lives in Staten Island, he brings his dog to my wife. My wife's his veterinarian.
Oh, wow. All right.
And has been for years.
Please say it's like a poodle, because that would just really break all the stereotypes.
No, it's not a poodle, and it's definitely the stereotype.
We had a little weenie dog. That would make so much more sense.
Yeah, keep dreaming.
All right,
you know exactly what kind of dog it is.
He's got to stay on brand. I get it, but in his heart, though, I bet he wants a poodle. It's like that's how committed he is to being Wu-Tang. Cool. All right, man. So, we decided, Jeff and I were talking, we'd do little soundtracks for the rest of the month. And, I feel soundtracks are a big part of music. A lot of people, kind of don't celebrate them as much as I think they should, because I feel like a lot of our lives have been from just seeing a movie and then running out and wanting the soundtrack. And then it just becomes, and it's so great because it's such nice collaborations that a lot of these artists do with producers and the filmmakers, and everybody is involved. And, somebody like Tarantino, who, he's very selective on the music that he chooses for the scenes. And so a lot of the times these filmmakers are, it's a big part of the movie is the music that goes with it. So we're excited to kind of celebrate that today. So Jeff, break us in, baby. What do you got?
Okay. So what we're going to do today, and it's the reason why I am wearing this shirt, in case anyone is trying to figure this out.
You wear that shirt every Saturday night.
There we go. That's right. It is Saturday Night Fever. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
The granddaddy of soundtracks. There he goes. Adam's got it. And
I think I got it, too.
think everything.
I got it, too. We all got it. We all got it. Been this since I was 7.
And the thing is, I mean, the soundtrack, even the album cover, everything about this is important. And here's the reason why. Okay, so little background with it, in case people don't know. Wow, look at that inside.
Unbelievable.
Even this, that's the scene. He's wearing the white suit at the end of the big dance finale. Initially, they wanted him to wear a black suit, but when they filmed it, it was too dark in the disco setting, so they switched it around to a white suit and a black shirt. But this album comes out in November 15th, 1972. As of today, it is the second best-selling soundtrack of all time, only behind The Bodyguard, which came out, I believe, in 92. This album has sold north of 40 million. And the interesting thing about this album is it's a double album. It's a double disc album. And when it was released, I mean, this thing was a monster. But 24 straight weeks, this was the top selling album. I always think that, you can't separate the music and the movie when listening to this. And it's interesting when they filmed this movie and you see all the dance scenes and you hear the Bee Gees songs. Travolta, when they're filming it, is not the Bee Gees at all. It's Stevie Wonder and Boz Scaggs that he's dancing to. The Bee Gees don't get involved in the film until after it was shot. Then Robert Stigwood, who produced it, and you know him from Grease and that awful Sergeant Pepper movie, he produced that as well, with the Bee Gees and Frampton. He got the Bee Gees involved in this, and they started to write the music, and he actually took a couple of older songs like Jive Talking on it. But that's how that whole thing started. But did you guys see the ing I'm assuming you did.
How are you not going to see this movie? Jeez, come on, dude. We saw this movie.
I'm just
look at us. You don't think we saw this movie a million times. This movie's it's a great movie. It is a great movie.
It
holds up pretty well.
I think it's not bad. I think it does too. It's if people haven't seen it, I know we have kind of a younger audience that comes on Twitch, but it's a movie filled with rape and bigotry and death and Travolta dancing. But
what an intro! What an intro to Travolta dancing! You got rape, you got bigotry, it's got everything. What else do you want in a movie?
Well, and the Bee Gees, who contribute a third of the songs to the track list. They even wrote one of the Yvonne Elliman's "If I Can't Have You," which is a great song on it. But you know what? Also, this movie explodes Travolta's career. Right, he becomes a superstar. Yeah. But who has the bigger picture on the album cover? I think it's the Bee Gees, right?
Oh,
the
yeah.
Bee Gees seem to get top billing on it.
Well,
It
thank
looks
God
like
Travolta didn't sing on this because he did a few albums back in the day.
Yeah,
So,
I
I'm
know.
surprised he didn't do a
Dude, Let Her In is one of the most brutal things I've ever heard. I go and watch this YouTube clip of him on the Dick Clark show singing this.
Oh, wow.
It is so cringy, embarrassing that you have to watch it. It's so bad, Travolta singing. But the Bee Gees can sing, and this is right. Remember, right before this album came out, the Bee Gees had a big hit with Main Course. Remember, that was the album that had Nights on Broadway. It had Jive Talking on it, and that was and I know it's because me and you talked about this a million times watching the Bee Gees documentary, and that was where Barry discovered his falsetto voice. So this is where you see the falsetto really at its prime, at its peak on this album. But I like that he's that the three of them are on the album cover. It's an interesting movie. It's an interesting selection of songs because the Bee Gees are white, they're straight, they're handsome, but
straight
the music
is debatable.
Well, they're all okay. But the music that they wrote for this is really influenced by like the gay disco scene at the time, the black nightclub scenes, and now it's becoming marketable. They're becoming marketable to like a broader new audience. They're bringing this music to a new audience, and you're blending like gay, female, black, are now really being exposed to the Bee Gees. Because remember, the Bee Gees were almost kind of like a Beatles type band prior to this, and they kind of then became thrown in as and identified as a disco band, but they were much, 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 much more than that. So let's talk about some of the songs, and I think the songs really.
Well, let's stop for
really
a second.
kind of,
I mean, I feel like we talk a little bit about. I feel like disco is kind of one of those things too that always comes back. I remember in the '90s, disco was back again with Mamma Mia and different things. Like people just, it seems like disco, as much as people seem to hate it at one point, it always seems to come back. It always has this disco, longevity. Dustin? I do. I love the idea of disco. I was, flashy clothes, cocaine, nightclubs. I mean,
what about the music though?
With this,
there's some you can listen to, right?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite on this is probably Disco Inferno. Like that's like that song is one of my. It's one of my favorite songs.
Absolutely.
And I do love the Bee Gees. I mean, like I was listening to it, and I'll let you dissect. I just wanted to say this, but it's like we talked about driving songs. "Staying Alive" is the all-time walking song. Like there is nothing cooler than that. Because I was walking to Los Angeles. I was walking to Los Angeles with this on today, and it was just palm trees and like the city, and it was just like there's nothing cooler than that and just going and like just something about it. Just I don't know, just pumps you up. And then the movie's great. What's so great about the movie is they show his shoes. And then they pan up to him holding paint. And so it's so funny because it's like, even though he's in a shitty job, he still has this confidence and like this swagger. And so it was just great. It's such a great opening. One of the best openings, I think, in a lot of films.
What I think this soundtrack does really well is it immerses the music and the spirit of the film. And when like the opening track, "Staying Alive," the first thing I wrote down was strut music. Strut. And I don't know if you ever saw the absolutely horrible sequel, which is horribly great, by the way, "Staying Alive." Did you ever see that, directed by Stallone?
I don't think I saw it.
Well, listen,
I know what you're talking about. Trust me, I do. But Staying Alive, right? Is that what it is?
"Staying Alive." Trust me, you want to watch it for the cringe factor. It is it's cringy on a different level than Rock of Ages cringy. Okay. It's awful, but I cannot stop watching it.
I like Rock of Ages, so I might love it. So
I hope you love this movie.
I can't pretend I didn't like it.
At the end of "Staying Alive," there is a scene where he walks out. He's like, he nails it. He's going to be a Broadway star, and he goes, "Know what I feel like doing? strutting, and then it's the same scene from it's like, fucking Stallone, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is like an NYU movie film student, his first movie. That's what he would have done. But
Hilarious.
It's a great song, man. It's about street survival. You know, it's a really great song. I
What
think
does
it was
the
like
New York Times line mean? What does that mean? Isn't there like a line of
it's not the newspaper, the New York Times, the Times of the era. These New York Times, and again, it's about whether you're this, whether you're that, with staying alive and staying alive. It's because the whole movie is about an underdog. And and this is what's kind of interesting about it as well, is the original director was, and when they first started filming, was John Alvison. And John Alvison, as you know, directed Rocky. And, Rocky's the story of an underdog. I think that's where there are similarities in this, and they kind of pay homage to John Alvison in his room, in Travolta's room, which really is a big part of the film. And one of the posters that's really prominent is the Rocky poster, right? And what happened was there was a disagreement on the set between Alvison and Travolta, because Alvison wanted his character to be a little bit more vulnerable, to be a guy who goes around the neighborhood doing good deeds, and Travolta wanted more of an edge. And when it becomes between the star and the director, the star is going to always win that feud. And so Alvison was fired, and they brought in, I think the guy's name was John Badham, who wound up directing it, and that's what happened there. But I mean,
But Disco, one thing I want to say, Disco wasn't about good deeds. Disco was about being an asshole. It was about getting coked up, meeting broads.
That's what he was.
So it's like, if he had something where he's doing, charity work in the neighborhood, I don't think it would have worked. He's like shoveling like snow and like bringing pies to like old ladies. I don't think that's going to work. You need him to be a dick. That's how the whole thing is.
Maybe Alvison was wrong on this. You
I think he was.
Point. Yeah. I don't want to see him doing fucking good deeds. You're right. Yeah. I want to see him not. I want to see him not calling that guy. What was the little guy's name?
Yeah, being a dick to that guy and
who got his girlfriend pregnant, and then he doesn't call him because he don't call him. He jumps off the bridge. Right.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see him being an asshole to Donna Pescow.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I want to see. Yeah, but there were great songs on this, like songs that made like with number one, like Staying Alive, like How Deep Is Your Love, like Night Fever. These are all great songs. But to go back to my original point about immersing the music and the film, is a couple of songs that aren't Bee Gees songs really kind of stood out to me, like A Fifth of Beethoven, right, by Walter Murphy. And that's a song. Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that song. It's kind of a blasphemy in so many ways. I mean, it's an interesting fusion. I mean, it definitely shows you the kind of, like people enjoyed songs like that because of the drugs. But I feel like, it's kind of cheesy, but it's a fun one. But it's, it's still kind of a weird, just do Beethoven, kids.
Influence, and you can see how it kind of set the table for like future artists like Moby. Right, you can kind of like see that, but you know what? But
it's kind of corny, dude. It is. Like if you look back now, it's a little corny. Back then, it was kind of cool because we. Would you
say the song is dramatic?
It's corny. It's fun. It's fun. It's corny, like in a fun way, not like in a bad way. No,
but here's the reason why I say it's dramatic. Because when I hear these songs, it always kept, I've seen the movie a billion times. Living in Brooklyn, Staten Island, you had to see this at least a dozen times, right? So every time I would hear these songs, I would think of the scene, and the scene where Fifth of Beethoven is. Remember when they enter the club and he goes, "Shape up, assholes with the faces," right? So they're walking through the crowd with also terrible edits. It's the same guys every time they come into the club. But the first time they enter the club, they're playing. It's a dramatic entrance with this dramatic beginning. That dun, 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 so they're coming into. I think that was kind of cool. He's walking in and greeting, and then another song where it sets a mood is Calypso Breakdown Ralph McDonald, and that's the first time you're introduced in the film to Stephanie Mangano. By the way, horrible actress, Karen Lynn Gorney. She's never in anything ever again, but it's the first time you see her, and she's dancing, and it's like a Latin feel, and the club never plays Latin music, and you can see everyone clears the dance floor except her and her partner, and he's looking at her, and it's new, it's fresh, it's different, and it gets Tony's attention, and that's how you kind of introduced to this, and what to me it's like it starts Tony's descent into wanting to leave the shitty life he has behind, and he's fascinated by this new person, and the music is different music than anything else in the movie movie and on the soundtrack.
Absolutely. Adam, how'd you feel about this album? I know you're a little younger, but how do you take in all this disco magic?
Yeah, this is a fantastic album. I mean, even in high school, I remember I had I'm trying to remember what the CD was. I had the Bee Gees' Greatest Hits. That was it. Driving around to that, and actually in '90, so I graduated in '95. Our class song was Boogie Nights.
Nice.
So there was definitely a disco resurgence around.
It was.
Around
I remember
the 90s.
when it happened. Yeah, I was in college when it happened. Yeah. Kind of a break from all the alt rock and the grunge that was going on. But and we actually have somebody here. It says, let's see, Jelly Bellying List says disco is fun and lighthearted. That's why it comes back every so often, which is very true.
Say it again. What'd he say?
Disco is fun and lighthearted. That's why it comes back every so often.
Yeah, I think you need it. You need, because we get too serious and people get too intense.
Sometimes you need a break, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Night Fever, songs like Night Fever and You Should Be Dancing, they made it feel important to dance. You can't.
It's important to dance.
Listen, you're telling me you're out with your girl, and those songs come on somewhere, and you're going to be the guy. No, I'm not going to dance.
I love to dance. Come on, man.
You're gonna
all I do is dance. I dance all day.
Chafin.
I dance all day. Yeah, it's my girlfriend. All I do is dance. No, but I think it's important. I think dance is essential for the soul. Let's get real cheesy. But yeah, I think it's dancing is how rock and roll started off of it, because of the dance stuff and Wolfman Jack and all that, and the dance and Dick Clark. And yeah, I mean, all of this is from dancing. It made music more popular and people got into it because they could dance to it. So absolutely.
And also, the drum part. Do you remember this from the Bee Gees documentary for Night Fever? The drummer couldn't make the session, so they wound up. Remember, they did the whole thing with the loop where they actually taped the segment together, and they just ran that drum that on a loop, and it wasn't a drum machine. It was actual tape that they did, and it kind of revolutionized the way drumming would be in the future of music, where they did eventually come up with a drum machine, and sometimes don't even need a drummer.
Yeah, I think disco is definitely something. With the documentary, obviously they got too big for their own good, and people associated them with this type of music, and they were definitely beyond that. But they were and they weren't, because even when they were trying to departure, it was impossible for Barry Gibb not to be this disco golden god. You know what I mean? Everything he touched, he still came off as the music. Never really. It's not like he was doing, grunge or something. It was always kind of the music of that time. But I also feel that in doses, I do my disco. I think once in a while, it's good to kind of be silly and have fun with this music. And even though maybe some of it has some darker undertones, it's still just, the beat itself it makes it light. And no matter what they're talking about, even Staying Alive is a kind of a serious song, but the beat is so damn catchy that you just, right. You don't get pensive, you get moving. So that's what the music does. But I think, and just just with all this, they were able to kind of showcase a lot of, disco, like I was saying, was it the Tramps that did Disco Inferno and Kool and the Gang. And I feel like after this, Kool and the Gang really kind of popped. And
but this is a different incarnation of Kool and the Gang. This is before, JT isn't in the band. This is way before Celebration and Fresh. So it's really not their best song. It's pretty almost like silly vocals in a song like Open Sesame, right?
Oh, is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the horns were great. Like the heart of the band was there. Yeah, exactly. It was so dumb.
That's a silly one. I loved this as a kid because I was probably, under 12, 11 or 10 or something. But I remember, I played the hell out of this album. This might be my original one, but I played the hell out of it. It was just like, whew, just like You Should Be Dancing. I love that one.
That's a great song. Yeah. That's a song that makes you feel like you have to dance.
Boogie Shoes.
Shoes, yeah.
I hated it. And that was one of those songs that was already like an established song. That wasn't just for the album. But I hated that. Was Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Who's this Yvonne Elliman? Like, who is that?
Oh, Yvonne Elliman. She was great. She played Mary Magdalene in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And Barry Gibb wrote what's the song? If I Can't Have You for Her.
Yeah, that's a great song. I think that's one of my favorites.
Unbelievable.
That's a good one. Yeah. If I can't have you, I don't want nobody, baby.
Yeah, that's a great one, isn't it?
It is good.
And that, when you bring that up, my mind immediately goes to him. Remember, that was the scene where he goes to the bar and he's telling Donna Pescow, whatever her name was in the movie, I forget her name. I just remember Donna Pescow, that the dance contest is coming up, and he's watching the stripper. And then when he leaves, she looks at her own tits, and she looks at hers, and then she smiles, knowing that I can kind of get him this way.
Yeah,
that's what that conveyed to me. I thought, I think the movie's a little bit deeper than people make it out to be. What I also like is that there's two different versions of More Than a Woman, and I love them both. Tavares and Bee Gees.
It's all good stuff. All right. Any other Twitchy stuff? Any people out there?
Let's see. We got Jay Dies a lot. Says disco is the EDM of the 70s.
Nice.
Let's see. Mighty
Jeff hates that stuff though. So how do you feel about that comment, Jeff?
I'm a positive guy. I try to give a positive energy. No. Full of shit.
Well, it's similar. It's basically drugs and music. That's what it is. It's heavy drugs and music. That's really the same thing. It's no different. I agree with that statement. It's okay. I think there's a little more, songwriting and, vocal things happening in disco than in that other stuff, but it's, it's still interesting music. So anyway.
We got Mighty Thought says the best drug and party music of the time. Then everyone did too much cocaine. And we got the 80s.
Absolutely.
And then they started doing cocaine on Wall Street. Right.
Yeah.
Right. It was an extension of that time. Another guy who doesn't get really any credit, you never hear anyone talk about him, is David Shine. And he did a lot of like the bed music in this, things like Manhattan Skyline. That's, like that very dramatic music when it's Bobby C. That's the guy's name, Bobby C. The small little guy, with the platform shoes, whose job is to drive the car when he's on the Verrazano Bridge. That music in the background is called Manhattan Skyline, Night on Disco Mountain, Salsation. These are all songs that that was with bed music, and they played an important part of the film. And he's there's no vocals to any of these songs; they're just instrumentals. And I think they're good. They're fun to listen to.
Yeah, they're good. It was good music, good stuff, good drugs. And thank God we switched to heroin and the music got better, in the 90s. But 70s and 80s, it was a little dicey. But all right, awesome. So Adam, you're up, baby.
All right. So we're gonna shift over from 70s New York City to the fictional state of San Andreas for the Grand Theft Auto 5 soundtrack Volume 1, which there's a lot of great driving music on that. We got 18 songs. These are all original songs too for Volume 1. And it's kind of a mix of, you get a mix of hip hop, you got a mix of indie music, you got some EDM in there, you got, some electronic music. So, all the music kind of has that West Coast California laid back, sunny vibe too in it. And, What do you guys think of the album?
I love it. I thought it was fantastic. I'd never heard it all the way through ever. I mean, I've heard some of the songs. But yeah, what's cool about this piece of music is, you know, it's like sometimes with video games, it's like you don't think about the music. You know, you think about just the other elements that are happening. Sorry, I got a little thing there. In the video game, because you're enthralled in trying to, you know, win the Beastmaster thing, or, you know, whatever it is, type of zombies or whatever's happening in your video game, win the championship or whatever. You're not really concentrating on the music. So when you step back, you see how much artistic, you know, involvement is with this stuff. It's like, you know, there's a lot going on. And the fact that they did original music, because I've played a lot of games where, you know, they had great soundtracks, because Grand Theft Auto also has, you know, just, you know, songs with the original artists that are great too, you know, like Judas Priest and like a whole bunch of cool, like rock songs and stuff. But this is great. It was good. There was a band that really stood out for me, was the Waves. I thought they were really good. And I'd never heard them before. And so it was good. And then just some great hip hop, you know, Nipsey Hussle and, you know, Rocky ASAP and all this stuff. And so it was just good. And then it's also a mix between kind of this kind of stuff that I like that reminds me of Vangelis, this kind of weird kind of synthesizer, kind of weird kind of intro, you know, scene music, if you will, for the video game. And that stuff is really groovy as well. Like I enjoyed kind of that, you know, kind of that just kind of modern kind of take on jazz and things like that. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was, it's a really cool mix of music. Like there's a lot of different things going on. And there was like one punk band that I liked. I forget what. Off was great. Like I thought that was, you know, it was a nice surprise to hear some of that kind of music. And because I thought it was going to be all hip hop and kind of instrumental, and so it was some surprising music by the Waves and Off, which were great. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, you have and you have also psychedelic music with Yay Sayer. You have you know, some rock with Chain Gang in 1974. You got what I really liked on there was Flying Lotus, Stonecutters, which I thought was I thought that was just such a driving. You know, I mean, I'm not really that big into electronic, but right away I instantly jumped into, like, just went onto Apple Music, checked out Flying Lotus to hear some more of his stuff. But it is it's a fantastic album. I think they had something like I think it was close to about 300 songs that they had, you know, a mix of the original, these 18 original plus a lot of licensed songs too. And, you know, just playing the game, you could really get, you know, there's just, you could really get lost, just drive around just listening to the music and the game.
Are you really into the game? Have you played the game a lot? I've played it a little bit.
Just Adam? A little bit. Yeah. I started playing it again. It's been, the game came out in 2013 and it's still going strong to this day, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty cool. Jeff, how are you feeling about this? I know this is out of your realm.
It is. I don't play video games, you know.
Your kid does, but, you know, I'm sure.
Well, that's the thing about these video games and the music. He'll start like listening to music or start playing music and like, how the hell do you know this song? And he'll mention a game. And I think that's great, you know, that a lot of these games, you know, bring back some older music, some classic music, and it turns a whole new generation onto it. But you could definitely see, like, when listening to these songs, you know, to the soundtrack, how they would fit in a game. And, you know, they kind of get you pumped up. Like, listen, it's not my thing, you know. I mean, I would, if I had time, I guess I would love to play a game. The games always seem real complicated to me. I can still play pinball, and I'll play, like, you know,
maybe darts and some foosball. Yeah, no, I'm kind of the same way. You know, it's like you know, some of these games it's a commitment. I mean, you guys you're gamers. Most of you that are listening to us today, you know, you're gamers, and I think it's like, you know, I think the whole experience, music kind of keeps you in it. I think, you know, it's like, that's what's great about it. It's like, because it's like you're playing a movie. And so I think these songs kind of, like, especially with Grand Theft Auto, which is, you know, it's a journey of, you know, you don't know what's going to happen. He's going to get jacked. Some guy's going to knife him. He's got a meeting, a sit down with a Russian mob dude. There's just so much going on. And they just really do a great job putting this music to these scenes. And like, there's a lot of talent. I have a lot of comedian friends that did a lot of voiceovers for actually Grand Theft Auto. And so Joey Gay, one of our friends, and a bunch of people. And it's like, so, it also, gets work for a lot of people in the, in the industry, entertainment industry. So it's like a lot of work for people, there's just a lot involved in the making of these games. And the music is really a big part of that. So it's pretty cool just to step back and listen to it.
I agree with that. I mean, it's amazing how intricate these games are and how they become. Adam, how did this game grow since 2013?
Well, they have online,
like the graphics.
They have I know they've updated some of the graphics. It's gone through, I think, now 2 generations of systems. I know that they have an entire online, there's an entire online aspect to the game as well, which is, I think, what became one of the bigger draws for it and has provided the longevity to it. Let's see, it's the number 1 game on Twitch right now. And,
oh, wow.
And they keep updating and adding stuff to it. And it's amazing. I mean, this game's,
does anybody have a favorite Grand Theft Auto song? Like any, or do you guys listen to the soundtrack separately, or you just, while you're playing the game? Just curious. It's like, if it's something, because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, like Jay Dies a lot says, I can ride around in game listening to the radio all day. Even the fake talk shows are hilarious.
Oh, they have the fake talk shows?
Oh,
that's great.
They have, I think it's
that's some hell of detail, right?
That's
crazy.
It's amazing. Yeah.
The detail in that.
Yeah, it's a bit overwhelming because there's just so much. There's the fake TV shows in it. There's just,
yeah,
you have a cell phone in it.
I think I played it right when it came out, and it wasn't as advanced, obviously. And so, yeah, I always had a hard time getting into the car. Like, it was always just like I couldn't get in the car right or something. like I'm that guy. Like, I'd play Call of Duty and I could never get my gun up. I would always just be down. Like, I'm just not. I need a joystick and a button. It's really how I go.
That would be me in real life. I wouldn't get into the car. I panic, get my gun ready. Yeah, I don't need to be humiliated in a fictional world.
But it is cool though. It's like, I do like Grand Theft Auto, the whole thing, because it's like, I think we all have this bad side. We all have this kind of like, a lot of people say video games are bad for kids or whatever, or young adults or whatnot. But I think it's good because I think we need a place to put that kind of fantasy. And so this is like I'm the opposite of what someone might say about, violence in games and stuff. I think we all have it in us. And that's why, like Westworld, like the idea of that whole thing, I understand it. Sometimes you just need to shoot somebody, but not, you know what I mean? And so it's like you do it, with a video game, then, it's like you get it out of your system. I think cops should play more video games. No,
it's also pretty interactive, right? Adam, when you play the game, do you put like your headphones on and talk to other people, your friends?
Yeah,
that's what my son does. My son and friends, they're on all night playing whatever game they play.
You're talking shit. You're like, it's like it's like a fantasy. It's a role play. It's fun. It's like, I think it's a way to lose yourself, especially if you're in like a shitty town where you don't have much going on.
Oh, definitely.
There's people, and it's like these places where they don't even have a mall. It's like, it's a way for you to expand and kind of meet friends and trash talk, and I think it's cool. I'm all about the game culture. I'm not a big guy. It's like. PlayStation 1 is kind of my jam. So, Road Rash, was kind of the only game I really liked, just because I like motorcycles and the idea of, and that was good music too. It was all grunge music. And then you could just hit people with chains when you ride the motorcycle. So that's my fantasy, because people just like.
I like the Wii. Did you have a Wii?
We're gonna lose followers now because you like the Wii.
The Wii's no good.
Yeah, I think it's good, but I guarantee the guys out here. I put the guys out here like, oh, Wii's for like, I don't know. I just know gamers take it serious. Like, it's like, I think the Wii is kind of like the. I don't know. It's kind of the tame version of video games. You know what I mean? I like it because it's easy to play and stuff. Like some of this shit, like you said, I got to look up codes and shit just to get through a level. Like that's when I stopped playing video games. Where I'm YouTubing codes and shit. I'm like, come on, man, it's Tomb Raider. Like I just want to get to the next thing. Right. Like why do I have to spend 10 minutes on a YouTube video just to get through this mountain? Like get me through the mountain. Like what's going on here?
Well, my son was a little boy when he was like 6, 7, 8 years old. He had a Wii, and we would sit there and just bond and play Mario Kart. And we had like so much fun. You would have like these
great,
different, you had the different tracks and places. You'd be like on the ship racing.
Sure.
It was fun.
No, Wii is great. I just know how some of these guys are about the Wii. Yeah, baseball is good. I like the idea of like moving with the thing. I don't think that, like, I remember I got that on my Xbox, at an Xbox 360. It had like the technology wasn't there yet with like the motion movement and stuff. Like,
that one was called 360. I didn't know that.
Well, I'm not sure one, but I had one of those things, like a motion
the Xbox Connect. Yeah.
Connect. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So you try to do the boxing and stuff,
right?
where you're actually boxing. I'm sure it's better now, but when it first came out, it sucked. It just didn't work right. So I'm sure everything's way beyond with the DVR, the headsets and everything. But anyway, anybody want to come in and school us on our old man video game talk? No, nobody. Okay.
I remember when I used to play Donkey Kong. Oh, that was the day. I played.
Stack quarters. You just put the quarters in there. That was the best.
That's
Asteroids. Right. That was my shit.
Do you remember what was the first video game system you had?
The first video game? Well, Atari was the first, but the one that made me popular was called ColecoVision. And that was the shit. Like, that was the PS5 of its time. It was like the graphics were almost as good as they were in the arcade games. Like, it was starting to get a little closer to that. But that was the shit. I remember that.
My dad never brought home any surprises. He didn't have any. There was never any fun. But the one thing he once brought home, and it was like the first game system was Pong. Do you remember Pong?
Absolutely.
You just kind of plugged in. It had like two like controllers, and that I remember playing. I remember thinking that was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's still mesmerizing. If you try to play it now, you'll still get into it. It's like,
and then from there, I went to I guess it was the Atari 5700, the 2700,
1600, I think.
Is it 1600?
Wait, it was the 52. Wait, 2600, the Atari 5200,
2600,
and then the 7800 was the one right after that.
Well, whatever it was, I had that. I remember, the baseball was terrible, the football was terrible, but those are the games I played. I remember at the time you thought they was so much fun, and you could play it for hours.
We got Pac-Man, and he wasn't even round; he was like square.
I loved Pac-Man.
The square Pac-Man going down the dots.
You know what we used to do? Did you guys have a Sega Genesis?
No. Wait, I went ColecoVision. That was kind of like the other version.
Oh, was that the equivalent to Sega Genesis ColecoVision?
Kinda. It was like they were the high end. They were the high end ones for sure. I think ColecoVision was before.
Because me and my friends, we would stay up all night. Like, we'd go out and then come back to my house. And it was like that scene from Swingers. And we'd be playing like, the NHL hockey. Right. And you make Roenick bleed.
Nice. And somebody pulls a gun. You're like, what? What's happening? All right. Anybody want to chime in, or they're all playing their games? We all lost them. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing right now.
Okay. All right. So, Adam, what do you got? Bring us home.
All right. So the big release for this week, the new Greta Van Fleet album, The Battle at Garden's Gate, double LP.
I like them.
It's good. I mean, I started listening to,
there's a couple tunes on it already.
Yeah, it's pretty good so far. The other big one this week is a new album from The Offspring. This is it's called Let the Bad Times Roll. It's their 10th album. It's the first new one since 2008.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
See, and then this one I thought was pretty interesting. It's Lucinda Williams doing a tribute to Tom Petty. Running Down a Dream, a tribute to Tom Petty, double LP. I think that one should be
I bet that's good. I saw her live once. She's great. Yeah, she's very good.
And then
I think they're starting to play that on the Tom Petty channel on Sirius, if you have that, because I've heard a couple of cuts from that as well.
And there's let's see, and then since we're doing soundtracks, there's Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's the first time on vinyl. It's the 10th anniversary of the film. There's actually two editions. There's a deluxe 4 LP edition and a double LP edition also.
Oh, very cool.
What's on there?
There's I know there's some I know Beck is on there. I know there's a bunch of original songs. I have to pull it up on here.
Yeah, I'll check that out. Becca's great.
Yeah. This was considered one of the better soundtracks in the last 10 years. Let's see. Got Metric. Frank Black's on it.
Nice. Love
T-Rex.
Pixies, right?
Yeah. The Rolling Stones. We got Under My Thumb on there. Broken Social Scene.
Oh shit.
Yeah, a few different Beck songs on there too.
Very cool. All right, guys. This was fun today. Thank you for listening and tuning in. And yeah, if you guys have a favorite soundtrack, hit us back. We would love to, hear your favorite picks and soundtracks, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Dustin's Vinyl. We love interacting with you guys. So yeah, man, excited about the soundtracks for next week. And we're going to be doing some deep cuts, and we're going to be covering Led Zeppelin. All the albums of Led Zeppelin is going to be kind of what we're getting into. It's going to be the end of podcast at the end of the month will be a deep cut of one artist until we've finished their catalog. And so we're excited to do that. So check that out. That's coming soon. And we'll see you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Adam. Woo!
Hey, congratulations on the car again, man. Enjoy.
Thanks, buddy. You got to come out here. We'll go cruising. We'll hit the Sunset Strip, baby, and crank up some crew.
Trust me, I'm planning on it. I will be out there one of these days.
All right, cool.
Hopefully, I'll see you soon. Be well,
Bye-bye.
guys.